Hi everyone, welcome to the Dance Party 247 podcast. You've got myself, DJ Envy, DJ T, DJ Wongy, and we have a special guest today, Johnathan Lewis, i.e. the DJ Tutor. Welcome.
All right, my man. Thank you for letting me play a part. It's very interesting. Nice one.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. T.
Yes. Before we carry on with however the discussion goes, for those who have never come across the DJ Tutor, rather than me do it, because I can spout on, I've followed him for over a decade, would you like to give a little synopsis of what you've done on the internet and what you're renowned for, and also, more importantly, why you do it?
Well, first of all, when I went on YouTube, someone told me about this website where you could watch old school videos. So I was on there watching Sheep the Freak and all the old disco classics. And then it wasn't too long before I thought, well, hold on a minute. Let's have a look at see if there's any actual DJs on there. And there was nothing. It was like, there's nothing on here. You know, I mean, there was maybe one or two videos, but that was it. And then I thought, well, why don't I just start doing like little demonstrations of how to count a bar and a phrase, and I didn't think any. I just thought, pardon me. Are you allowed to swear?
You can swear. What I can do is, well, what was up, Wongy?
So I just shut the window.
Oh,
It's
I
getting
tell you
cold.
what, I'll do my dodgy swearing. I thought, frig it. I'm just going to make some. So I made some videos. Didn't think anything of it. You know, didn't really know about subscribers or likes. It was just like, sod it. I just wanted to put content out there because there wasn't any. And I was thinking, well, I've got a little bit of knowledge. Why not chuck it out there and share it? And that's it. It's sort of slowly grown, and other people have copied me or got better at it and whatnot. But what I've tried to do is keep to the grassroots and still be a bit punk, be a bit real. You know, if the kid's screaming in the background, leave it in. If the cat jumps on the deck, don't edit it, leave it there. You know, if there's a noise or I make a mistake, leave it, because life, we all make mistakes. And I think what I have found is a lot of other people who copy me now, you never see them make any mistakes. Everything they do is top notch. And you beg to think, hold on, life isn't like that. We all frig up from time to time. So I keep it in there. And that's how it is. You know, I couldn't care less whether I get 1,000 likes or none. I enjoy doing a contact, but what I do enjoy is inspiring other people to do the same.
Fair play.
You know what I mean?
Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. So in regards to your YouTube channel, where are you looking to take it? Is it just going to just keep plodding along, or are you looking to do bigger things with it?
Just plod along, really. I mean, you know, I get like the odd company saying, would you like to promote this fan? I'm like, what the fuck? Fan, you know, or like, here's a bag. And yeah, seriously, like, you know, would you like to promote this bag? And I'm like, well, all right, I will, because, you know, a bag, what can you put in it? You could put your tunes in it, or you could put a small controller in it. So I'll do that, you know. To take it in other directions, I just want to leave it as it is, because I think too many people now are taking their YouTube channels and they're making something that used to be real unreal. Whereas mine, I want people to come along and still see, yeah, it's Johnathan. He's up to his old tricks. He hasn't changed. And if anything, people will be able to watch me, hopefully, if I'm still doing this in 3 or 4 years, and go, yeah, this is what it was like back in the day, you know, and I'm still being there back in the day. But today,
haven't watched you over the years. You were a bit of a push against the system. You are very eccentric in your nature. So obviously the way you do it obviously just fits your character perfectly, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, what I would like to talk about here, excuse me, to the DJ community is, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've pissed a lot of frigging people off. Big companies, I pissed them off big time. You know, I mean, and I'm going to name one of them, American DJ. Pissed them off,
Okay.
big time pissed them off. And it's because I didn't jump into their sort of like American DJ kind of, you're going to work with us and that's it. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
There was another company, it rhymes with Dove. You may know
They
that.
do nice,
Dove,
nice lights, don't they?
Rhymes with Dove,
Yeah.
with a sh.
Yeah.
I pissed them off as well. And I think what it is just a clash of characters. That's all it is. You know,
But yeah,
I'm always going to piss people.
go on.
Well, I'm always going to piss people off, and that's me. In a way, I do, but I don't give a monkeys.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, like, yeah, I'll be straight up and honest. I don't know a great deal about you. I've watched some of your videos, and I've gained your characteristics a little bit. A bit of understanding of your characteristics. You're very quirky. You're very funny. You know, but that's what I like. See, with me, I'm live, I'm raw. And what you see is what you get. If I make a mistake, I'll try and rectify it on the spot, on the cuff, on the fly. You know,
we do apologise for him in advance.
Yeah, I mean, I've only just come into the 21st century this year. I've been on 1210s up until this year. You know, so I've come from the dinosaur age to the 21st. You know,
hey, how many sets of 1210s you got?
0. Oh, okay. If we're being honest here, I did have a pair of your old. Is it Stantons? Stantons, wasn't it? I think it was.
I think Vaztecs, the PBX
Vaztecs,
2000s.
Yeah, I had a pair of those. I can just about sort of sweat it and make a mix on the old decks. But obviously, I'm CDJ or obviously virtual now. What's the question for you, Johnathan? You've done everything. You've gone the full spectrum. You've gone 1210s, CDJs. You dabbled in sort of record boxing, controllers and stuff like that. And you've even gone to the extent that you've done it virtually with that virtual software. Where does your heart lie? I know where your heart lies because it's violent. But where do you think the future lies?
Before like 12.
it's frozen.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll even back day. I mean, belt drive. You know what I mean? I've been back the day when you had to, you know, your pitch control was your frigging finger on the vinyl, moving it, getting it in beat.
Yes.
You know, but to answer your question about the future, yeah, man, seriously, yeah. But to answer your question about the future, I would say that the future, we've got it's everything. Because if you just target, you know, one sort of format, as in just digital or just virtual reality or just vinyl, then when I say it's not good for the other formats, it means, I don't know, how can I put it? Now is the time where a DJ can just do whatever they want, you know, anything.
Yeah.
And I think we should embrace everything. So I personally still love vinyl. You can't beat it.
Yes.
You can't beat it.
Absolutely.
And one thing I will say about vinyl that, and I've mentioned, I mentioned this before. All right. Now this is the vinyl. And if people watching this video, if one person goes by these words, they'll do really well in life. Is like I said online, you know, a couple of times, you had vinyl, and then in the 90s, people started throwing the vinyl away, buying CDs. And then in the early 2000s, people started CDs away and buying frigging thumbsticks. You know, and now throwing the thumbsticks away and going on cloud. You know, but, you know, if you've still got your vinyl, you've still got your Technics, and you rock up to an event with a set of decks and vinyl, you can command what price you want to charge, because people will pay a dividend to have a real DJ, not virtual vinyl, none of this DVS shit.
Yeah.
No
coding.
real vinyl. Beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah.
Is that because you believe that
That's
the
it.
set of
No.
skills required to do that would you're putting a show on? Because obviously, if you're behind the laptop all night, just going tap 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 tap, you're not showing anything off. You've got the skills or got the music knowledge that if you're on the decks, the ones and twos, some people obviously would appreciate that you've had to work hard for that. You've got a skill, a tangible skill, and a showable skill on display.
Mm.
Is he frozen? It's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah.
How is that?
Hello? No, he's frozen.
It's gone again.
I'm here.
Okay.
Hello,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Hold on. I'm frozen. I'm still here. I agree 100%. With vinyl, you've got to have the skill and you have to have the music knowledge.
Yes.
Well, lucky for me and Mr. Wongy, we have. Well, I have that. I don't know about
knowledge
Wongy.
with vinyl. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love
mean,
vinyl.
Yeah.
I started on a.
Vinyl was an art to play. Anyone can go on a digital and use your virtual software to mix. But yeah, with vinyl, if you don't know what you're doing, you're never going to do it. Never.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's straight away you got to know your music to where your drops are and where you're going to mix in and mix out. As well, now you just see the visual. You don't even have to hear it. You just have a look. Okay, yeah, I know a DJ that plays on our streams, and he doesn't listen to the music. He watches the music first and foremost. Anyway,
that's just crazy, isn't it?
But
but no, I think if you start on vinyl, you're a better DJ.
Well,
when you start using newer technology.
It's frozen.
Signal's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the second take of the DJ Tutor podcast. Due to technicalities that we've had to relocate to 10 hours later, late in the evening. So thank you, Johnathan, for still being up in this late hour for us. What we didn't hear at the end of the conversation is that you were saying some story about a DJ that you saw doing 7-inch singles, mixing together, and then we didn't quite get the rest of that story.
Now, well, I mean, this to me is quite big because you've got this DJ called the 45 King, and he made a tune back in the day called the 900 number. And I don't know if you know it. It goes like na 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 na.
Yeah, it's a saxophone, isn't it? It's a saxophone, yeah.
And I mean, now this guy is renowned for playing 7-inch singles, right? The 45 King, you know. And I remember seeing him do a live set. He was using 45s, but it was virtual vinyl from a laptop. I'm like, what is the point in that? You know, it didn't make any sense. If you're gonna use 45s, you know, you've got to have a 7-inch single, a proper one. You know, whereas I mean, Google this. Technics a couple of years ago they brought out, I think, the Mark 7, something like that, and you had Kenny Dope Gonzalez from Masters at Work. He did a set using 7-inch singles. All right, he did a mix, and it was amazing. I mean, this guy was using proper vinyl, 7-inch singles on the Technics, and I thought that's why he's dope. You know what I mean? That's why he's Kenny Dope. I mean, that was shit hot, you know. So really, what I'm saying here is that today DJs are abusing the laptop. They're just too much.
Yeah, T.
Yeah, I would. Oh well, okay. They rip it out of me because I'll give you a little bit of history in terms of how I learned to DJ. I did a gig when I was 19, two hi-fi units just as background music for a work colleague. Literally just a bit of soul R&B, and I think it was like, you know, salt and pepper, things like that. Just vinyl I bought and I accumulated from my parents and uncles and stuff like that. One on high and then the other one like that, just fading in and out, all that kind of stuff. I was actually really chuffed on the day because I got told to turn it down. So as a DJ, that's always a good thing, isn't it? You to turn it down, right?
Oh man, yeah.
But I couldn't mix. Although I wanted to mix, I tried a couple of times on friends' setups on vinyl, which obviously, as we just talked about, is as a hard as a skill to do. I came across yourself when I was DJing on a little home mix, which basically had like 1% pitch control, little square unit, and a pitch bend, and not even point of a percent. It was like 1 whole percent. So I didn't know anything about the BPMs of tunes, getting them in phrase, the timing off it. And I was watching some of your videos. And obviously then the one where you got the two cars and they're racing each other. Remember that video back in the day? And you get them all
showing your age, T.
Put two tracks on at the same and you can hear them in phrase. But yes, obviously that taught me, once it clicked, it's like, yes, I get this now. And therefore, I need to know, one, obviously, the key of the track as well, which obviously I do use mixed in key. Obviously, the BPM, you need to BPM. And so I've gone to a point where basically I will look at the display, I will have them keyed, I'll have them BPM'd. But obviously, back in the day, you didn't have that, or you had to do it manually on a vinyl. Envy doesn't even know how to get the BPM of a vinyl. He just goes totally off ear.
Talent. That's what that is.
but, okay, I use the numbers. I mean, okay, yes, obviously I use virtual DJ for about 10 years as well. So obviously you've got a visual representation there. And I've gone back in lockdown. I've gone back onto CDJs, and the time is slightly out. The feel, I'm going by my ear again rather than my ear and the visual. And I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy going a step backwards to use a skill that basically I could have two tunes, and because the pitch control is not great on the decks I had before, I just synced the BPMs, but just dropped it in manually. So I still feel like I was doing something. But now I have to pitch it, and then every BPM is not exactly 128. It's 128.001 or whatever. And I'm touching it, and I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it reminds me, like you said before, it's not absolutely perfect. You can tell it's a DJ doing the craft, and I like that. Would I go back to vinyl? No, because I know that's hard work. I know that's damn hard work. And it's a skill I wasn't brought up on. So, and with that in mind, you were also going to talk about taking it one step to the future. You a couple of years ago, you came in touch with some guys that were doing stuff virtually. Could you talk a little bit about that at all, Johnathan, about all the virtual DJing?
That is some crazy shit. All right. So, like what happened, there was this guy called Ozan from California. And I get all these random emails all the time, and some guy was on about like virtual DJ, and it was like, what the hell's going on? What is this? And then you get talking to him. He's got this guy called Tom who has done a lot of the work in actually building Tribe, building the virtual reality DJ setup. And it got to the stage where they were like, we want you to get involved, because I mean, there's so many people like I meet, and they're like, oh, I learned DJ from you and you and you. It's like a guy Val Colton, I think Val, from V Moda. I mean, the director of V Moda. He's like, oh, Johnathan, you taught me how to DJ. It's crazy. But I mean, basically, this guy, he got in touch with me. And he said, listen, we would like you to be the tutor in virtual reality DJing. And for me, it was a bit like, okay, I'm not a gamer. Back in the day, I had a little sort of Game Boy, and that's about it. I can't be asked in playing with games. I like reality, not sort of like gaming. But anyway, this guy, Tom, comes from America, turns up to my house, gives me a computer, gives me all the Oculus stuff, and sets that up on his computer, and he says, put this headset on. And I'm looking, I've got decks in front of me. I've got this like 4-channel mixer and two CDJs. It's like, whoa, you got these hand controllers and you're like touching stuff and you mix on them. I mean, it's just insane. But the crazy part is I can be standing in my living room in Wales, all right? And this guy, this Ozan guy, is in California, and he jumps into my virtual reality room, and we're standing next to each other. And he's playing a tune on his deck on this side. I'm on this side, and we're doing a back-to-back set. And he's freaking 1,000 miles away.
Is that like seamless? Is it literally like as good as technology is?
There is no lag, nothing.
So how does that? Okay, so how does that work then?
Envy's brain's blown away. You can't comprehend it.
No. So you say you got like the hand control things. How does that work with actually feeling what you're doing?
Okay, right now again.
No, please.
It's not tactile, okay, because you've got these hand controllers. So it's very similar, if not the same, as a sort of a hand controller that you'd have if you were playing a game. You know, the only difference is you've got a hand controller for your right hand, one for your left. You've got buttons, and different buttons do different things. You know, so when you, for example, you grasp hold, if you say, for example, you want to put the volume up, you put your hand over the virtual volume, grasp, and then you move the volume.
Right, okay.
You know, that's how it works. If you grasp over, say, the color effects, turn, and you're moving the color effects. And then you've got this like a clicker, and you click down, and there's a virtual screen that jumps up in front of you. And it gets more insane. And then you can search your tracks, you load, and then you've got a track here. But this is where it gets really balmy, okay? Let's say you're looking at me now, and imagine my decks are here, all right? So the person watching is watching from here. I can click an icon, or I can click a number on the laptop, and the person watching can get my view. So they're in my vision. It's almost as though they're getting my view of what I'm looking at. Not only that, you can get a virtual freaking webcam, and you hold this camera, this virtual camera, and you can move it. You can just clonk it here, and now the person can see from that angle, or take it, move it there, and now they can see from that angle. It's insane.
So what they've done, do you remember Second Life?
Yes.
So they've took that and just made it better.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
In general, so Wongy, for you, because I know you don't know, Second Life was like I used to stream on it back in the day when I was on Fat Beats.
Right.
And it was like a virtual club, and you it's just like a gaming sort of thing.
Amazing, mate. I remember that.
Yes, Second Life. And basically you could charge people to come in, or you could do it for free. There was all sorts of things you could do. And they've done that, but took it to the massive next level by the sounds of it.
Do you think? Go on,
T.
I was going to say, so we covered obviously sort of with my little bit in the middle, sort of the digital stuff. You three obviously taught and bread and butter, and your life is vinyl. That's your true love. Where does the industry go in the future? Are we talking more this virtual stuff? Or are we talking like what we do? We stream obviously online. We do our sets online. Hence, I'm in a virtual studio. My walls are green because of green screens. But is that the case of being a remote DJ? Or is it something like what you described now, Johnathan? That somebody will pay, a DJ to go into their virtual reality. Given the world we live in nowadays, and nothing's normal. Where do you see us going the next couple of years to try and get back to some sort of working DJ again?
It's insane. I mean, I do have. I don't want to digress, but I've got a theory on what's going on. I mean, basically, the system wants to ruin money. All right, it wants to control you. All right, it wants digital currency, so it knows what you buy, when you buy it, who you buy it from. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, and I'll say it out loud. All this cough stuff, it's all bollocks. It's all bollocks.
I have my own theories on about it. I think they want a cashless society as well.
These two are very much into their theories of what's going on.
I could talk to you for hours, Jonathan, about that sort of stuff. And Mr. Wongy. I know he could.
People say I'm
If
nuts.
you want to get out the system, trust me on this. If you want to get out the system, get Bitcoin. Bitcoin is decentralized. No one owns it. You can get Bitcoin, and 10 years from now, you can still go and buy a bottle of milk. You know, but if you go by their system, by a centralized bank, and they'll know how much bloody milk you're buying. They'll know when you buy it. They'll know what. They'll know if it's gold top or blue top. You know what I mean? It's mental.
Yeah.
But anyway, to answer your question, we are right, and I think we're at very, very exciting times now. All right, because what is happening it's twofold. What's happening in the monetary system is people like you and I, us lot, you know, we could do really well and make a lot of money now by investing correctly, but also DJing. We've got an opportunity now to do really well, because if you think about it, pure logic now, for the past 6-7 months, no one's had any entertainment at all. Everyone's frigging, they're gagging for it. There are people we want to party. Now,
well, I was going to mention so much so that people are prepared to have all the massive fines to have illegal raves, and it get itching that much, aren't they?
Oh man, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, up North Wales, it's outrageous up there at the moment, the amount of parties they're having. But what I'm saying is that I'm using reverse psychology, because a lot of DJs now are thinking, right, let's get the CJ 3000s coming out, even though it doesn't use bloody CDs. Is the new player from here that, you know, you can mix different styles, different BPM, and it'll do a little mix in it for you. You know, Denon's got the new kit. There's all sorts of new kit.
Yeah.
I got a theory, and it's, you know, you can't kill yourself with music. So if you think about it, like back in the day, when in the 80s and 90s, let's say you're 18, 20, you know, you're partying, you're raving, you're taking your drugs, you're going out, you're having a mental time, you're bonking everything left, right, and center. You don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But then what happens is you get married. Hopefully, unlike me, you go through a very acrimonious divorce and have your kids taken off you. But
I know the feeling.
Oh man,
that's another podcast.
Another one, yeah. You and I would talk for hours, mate.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But you see, basically, what you've got, right? If you take, let's say, 100, you know, coke heads from the parties, 100 people, all right? Some of them would have died. Some would be alcoholics. Some would be working in McDonald's. But there would be a tiny percentage who were like multi-millionaires who thought, I've partied, I'm now going to enjoy myself. Get me? Mm. It's bound to. It's the law of averages. All right? Now, if you think about it, when they've got in their big house, they get their friends around, they want to party. All right? Are they going to book a laptop DJ? I don't think so. If you can promote yourself as a vinyl DJ, old school, back in the day, original vinyl DJ, and you're going to charge $2,000 for the privilege of not taking virtual vinyl, but real proper vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to pay that.
I mean, we touched on this the other day, didn't we, guys? Funny enough. I don't know if it was me and Wongy or me and T. We were saying that when things open up, there's just going to be a massive opportunity.
Yeah.
For house parties in general. I don't think clubs are going to open anytime soon.
No,
I really don't. It's going to be a house party thing. It's going to be garden parties. It's going to be all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're going to really try and sort of tap into. Yeah. As soon as we can, we're going to. I'm going to be designing a new page and bits and pieces to book DJs and that sort of thing. So we're really going to try and touch on that as much as we can, as soon as we can, as soon as we're able to.
Yeah.
So as soon as the rule of six is out the window and people can get back together, it's an opportunity to be earning a few quid.
Yeah,
definitely.
23rd.
Exactly. So, my argument, or sorry, my point really is, that there's room for all kinds of DJs, because, people are going to book someone with a laptop. People are going to book someone who's got a controller with thumb drives. Someone's going to, it doesn't matter what sort of DJ you are. It doesn't matter. But what I want to be able to do to give us another, let's say, an idea. You've got a choice.
Yeah.
Another choice is you can book me as an original proper vinyl DJ. I'm going to turn up with 2 turntables and a mixer and a whole box of records. No screens, all right, no CD players, nothing. And that's it. And people are going to pay money for that.
I mean, the thing with vinyl, if you learnt on vinyl and you've played out on vinyl, you can never beat that feeling of putting 2 tracks together and people going nuts for it. Right. And the pops, the crackles, the hisses, all that. You put all that together, and you can't replicate that anywhere. No way. And people of our age who went out in the 80s and 90s, they love all that. You speak to any of my friends, and they love vinyl. They're not DJs, some of them, but they love vinyl.
Yeah,
because that's what they were brought up on.
Isn't the sales of vinyl on a massive resurgence as well? It's the most it's been in the last decade. That's what people just recreational use in terms of buying it, putting it down, and just listening to a record.
Okay.
So if you're doing that, you would end up. Come
on. I was searching for vinyl records the other day online, and you can't. I could not find brand new vinyl that's been released. I just couldn't find it. All I could find was old school stuff. I couldn't find anything new. No. So, vinyl may be climbing, but there's no new stuff being released on 12-inch.
It's limited. A lot of the chartier stuff and new stuff, is more limited. It's not. They will just do a small run. Yeah. It won't be in all the shops. You'll be lucky to find that album. First way, I give an example. My daughter is 15. She turns 16 a couple of days before Christmas, and as a birthday present, her and her friends for one of the other friends is clubbed together to get an Arctic Monkeys. I couldn't remember which album it was. I bought it, but on vinyl, it had a big pulse on it like that. Whichever somebody obviously maybe comment below what one that is, but basically one of the old Arctic Monkeys vinyl albums, because it's this friend loves listening to vinyl.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
No, you can't.
It's if you're brought up with that. I mean, I learned to mix on 16 TT 1650 Newmark belt drives, and I had this little mixer, tiny little 2-channel thing, 2-band equalizer and a gain, and crossfaders are just basic, and they were the best times for DJing for me. Learning to put everything together, making mistakes, annoying the hell out of my neighbours. I was probably the most hated person on the street. But they were great times, and I don't think you get that when you learn to mix on a controller or MP3 or virtual DJ. You just don't get that. You don't get that enjoyment.
What I've loved is the tactile side of it. I love touch. I mean, irrespective of whatever format you use, the mixer in the middle is still tactile. And I love feeling that. Obviously I've got CDJs here, but it's a tactile feel of it. I don't like clicking a screen or pressing a mouse. It doesn't feel like I've done anything. I'd rather put my hand on a knob and twiddle it around, excuse the pun, twiddle it around.
Really?
I'd rather put an effect on and obviously bring it in manually rather than obviously a slider. And then sometimes that slider, it pops off, and all of a sudden you've got to click it back on, or you move it too much because you ain't got the sensitivity feel, and it just doesn't feel right. And then, excuse my French, you F up and mix because of it. And then you can, okay, move on.
Yeah.
But I love the tactile nature of it.
Yeah. A story here, like, but this is back in the day. This is probably like friggin' it, 91, 92. I remember going to a house party, and there was a DJ there. He had the decks. He was sitting on the floor, you know, and he didn't mix. Not one time did he sort of beat match or anything like that. And but what he did do was he blended tracks together. And
Right.
I was listening to this guy. I was going, this is shit hot what he's doing. It was amazing. And I asked him, I says, how come you don't mix anything? I can't do it. And but he was able, like, you must know a DJ. He used to be on Radio 1, Giles Peterson. Do you have you heard of him? Okay.
Not off the top of my head.
All right.
But anyway.
All right. So this guy.
I'm a decade older than you, Envy. So unfortunately, I do.
Yeah, I know.
well, this guy, Giles Peterson, he used to have a show on Radio 1. It is probably about 20 years ago. But what he would do, he would play, and one of his favorite styles was like African, Brazilian, soulful sort of style music, lots of percussion. But what he would do, he'd just have these blends. And the key to DJing is not about banging that mix in time and in phrase. It's about the key. It's the music content.
Right.
Because music is energy.
Yeah.
Energy is vibration. And each track you play has its own vibration. And if you can match those vibrations together, then you've got a good mix. Now, all of us have been in this position. Me all the time, you know. You're playing a tune, you bring another one in, and all of a sudden you look at the dance floor and there's this wrong energy there. And straight away it's like, it's out of key. It's the wrong sort of vibration from one tune into the other.
Yeah.
And when I teach people, I give them this image. I say, imagine, and I've got my decks in front of me, and I say, right, imagine the mixer is a corridor, and imagine that turntable there is a room, and that turntable over there is another room, and these three separate rooms, or the corridor and the two rooms, are soundproofed. All right, so you can't hear anything in there because there's a door. And we can't hear anything here because there's another door. So all of a sudden, I open the door on my right-hand side, and I can hear someone playing the piano, all right? It's a lovely sound. Close the door, and we can't hear anything. And then the other person opens the other door, and now, you know, we can hear someone else playing a different piano. It sounds great. But then we open the doors together, and it sounds frigging terrible. It's because it's a clash.
Yeah.
The music doesn't work. All right. It's because it's completely out of key. You know, and so many times I get DJs going, it's not about the key. You play a banging techno tune, another techno tune. So long as it's in beat and in phrase, it doesn't matter. It does matter, you know, because very quick, the top three.
Yeah.
All right. The first paramount about doing a mix is the notes, the music. That's number one.
Yeah.
The second one is in beat, and the third one is in phrase. Now, if you've got it in key and in beat, even if it's out of phrase, doesn't really matter. If you've got it in key, in phrase, but slightly out of beat, it's going to sound a bit off, but it doesn't matter because it's the music content. But if you've got it in beat and in phrase and out of key, sounds shit.
I was just going on your good friend Brian S. Red, and he's all about the music programming. Very much when I'm putting a set together, because primarily the only outlet we have at the moment is streaming. Obviously, I've done mobiles and bars in the past, but it's just streaming. So I put a set together. It takes longer to put the set together and choosing the tunes and actually playing this damn set out, because you're choosing the tunes. Okay, I got mix and key. I get to make sure that the tracks are going to lead me somewhere. Where do I start in the Camelot wheel? Am I going to finish? All those considerations. I put the tunes in order, and then I play them. And even then, I will skip a tune and say, that doesn't quite feel right, because obviously it did want to sit down, but now I'm in the mood and the vibe. It doesn't. But too many DJs, in my mind, let's talk about mixing. It is that bit between the two tracks that you call the third track. That's all they're emphasizing on. But as a purpose on the dance floor, they don't care about that so much. You've just gone from one track to the other, but that's a great track, and that's a great track. That's what they're bothered about. Not the bit in the between, not the bit you've done your skills. It's the whole experience. You played great music, and you did it seamlessly. And if you've got good skills, they don't really notice it that much. So I can't remember going from that track. I don't care. I'm playing. I like this. We're gonna have some fun. That's how I look at it in terms of.
Yeah, but that's the great feature. If they don't notice the middle bit, you've done the right job.
Sometimes you might want to do it. You might want to, obviously, especially on the radio. I think, well, okay, I fancy doing something different, and I'll experiment maybe live if there's not too many people locked on. Think, well, they don't matter. They're not really listening that much, so I'll put in effect that didn't really work. I won't do that again, or that did work. I'll bank that. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll chop it up, or instead of just blending, I'll mix it up to say, right, okay, I'm still experimenting, and I don't want to, because it keeps me interested. But if I was doing a live gig, perhaps with real people, I'd be thinking, I've practiced all that, and I know now what's going to work with this track. This is the way it brings in, or this is a mashup of two tracks, or I'll blend it, or I'll chop it, or drop it. But it's the tunes. It's all about the music, because if it wasn't the music, then who cares about the mix? The mix is nothing in as a bigger part of the whole picture.
But you see, also, if you think about it now, and this is from a very internal perspective, when you're playing a track, your mind, or sorry, I'll start again. When you play a track, your ears are listening to that song. You're taking that vibration into your mind, into your brain, and then it's resonating with you. Now, the track, all right, that you like will resonate at a frequency that you like, but that same track might resonate at a different frequency with someone else. This is why the uniqueness of tracks acts differently with other people. This is why we get some people who love one house track and some people who love another house track, but they won't like each other's house tracks, because it resonates at a frequency that is in tune with how you resonate with that tune, if that makes sense. You see, when you're listening, the listening of the music is only half of it. The other half is how it moves you. And this is the beauty about music. It's moving you. So you play one song, it moves you, you bring another one in, and if that movement of those two tracks works in tandem, you've got a good mix, and then the energy flows.
I love when I hear, especially when new tunes. Okay, you get nostalgic tunes, and I do mix a bit of both. But I love it.
I can't say it that well for me.
Salsoul.
Ah,
oh, yes.
Classic.
I love the fact that when you get a track that puts hairs on the back of your neck. Now, it could be an old track, it could be a new track, might be one you haven't heard for a long time, and it depends what time in the evening you play it as well. So early on, it might be a new track that you're anticipating to go down well, and it goes down like tumbleweed to everybody else. But it's like I was really excited, and like nobody bit on this one. And then you can have it the other way, especially in a live DJ situation when you play multi-genre. And you're playing, I mean, even for the example, from an Oasis song to the end of Frank Sinatra, My Way, or New York, play the right track at the right time, and you bounce back off the crowd again. So it might not be your choice, and you might listen to it, and you might hear it, for example, at the end of Die Hard, obviously Frank Sinatra comes on, Let It Snow, and it's snowing outside, so I'll put it on. And if you play the right track at the right time, and people just pounce on it, I miss that as a live environment, bouncing off the crowd, and you go, you've had lots of little losses, like you said before, that didn't quite work, but that one win makes the whole night. And you might people come up to you say, "Great DJ," and think, "Well, I played one track that really resonated tonight more than any others," and you remember that, so that's good for me.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, I mean, so where do you think? Like, we'll move on a little bit. we're going to be for New Year's Eve then, guys? Because obviously New Year's Eve is going to be a completely abnormal feeling this year. There's no fireworks in London. All the bars are shut, clubs are shut. Where do you think we're going to be as DJs? Obviously, we'll be DJing on the radio. We'll be doing our thing because you've got to do something because you go nuts. Where do you think we're all going to be in regards to the crowd? So our crowd is going to be our listeners. How's that going to feel DJing to a virtual person, so to speak? Because that person is not physically in front of you, is it? And to me, that's going to be weird. Mr. Wongy?
Well, it's a bit of some because I mean it's going to be weird, isn't it? Because like it's this year is a total blowout. You know, all right, you're going to get a sort of Christmas because they've opened things up and allow you to have family, but it's not going to be the same. Yeah, you like, all right, they've opened pubs up. You can go down. You can do things down the pub. It's still, even that is not going to be the same.
No.
When it comes like New Year's and and people's going to have a huge release that they want to, a huge amount of energy they want to release.
Yeah.
And they I mean, most people they just need to go out and just dance it off, you know.
But that can't be done. So
no, there's nowhere. So
as DJs, we've got quite a responsibility this year.
Well, yeah,
I think so.
But
to make people enjoy New Year's.
How many people are going to be? How many people are going to be doing it on that night?
You don't know, do you?
No,
you really don't. I mean, obviously, I know what us three are doing New Year's Eve. Johnathan, have you got anything booked in or?
Well, I'm this time last year, I was working in the Holiday Inn in Telford, and they liked what I did.
I wish I could.
And they said, we want you next year all the way through December and New Year's Eve. So, I mean, I was sorted. I was going to be working sort of, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, all the way through December, New Year's Eve as well. And now they're saying, hopefully, all being well, it will just be New Year's Eve. You know?
Right.
Now, I don't do the mask thing, okay? But what I've said to myself is I do have a kick-ass outfit, all right?
Right.
The whole outfit. I'll probably go in with that. Just go mask, outfit, kick-ass.
Well, whatever works, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. But like, if I'm not working New Year's Eve, if it's not going to happen, I might, like you guys, I might do some sort of live streaming. But you see, if you think about it, you know, like I said earlier on about the vinyl.
Yeah.
If you're going to live stream, now is the time to promote the fact you're going to be live streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
No,
everyone's going to be doing it. But yeah. I guarantee you, all right, you know, out of 100 DJs, 99 of them will be starting to promote the fact they're going to do a live stream 3 days before. And they're like, oh, yeah, I know, I'll do a live stream.
Yeah, it's not enough.
You know, December the 24th, they'll be like, oh, I'm going to live stream New Year's Eve. It's like, no, you want to start saying you're going to do it now.
Yeah, I mean, we've got
you promote it. Because we've got like it's a real event. Make sure you got a good lead-in time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've done. We've done a thing for Mindful. We've done a Halloween special. We've got a Christmas, the dance party, Christmas party on the 19th of December. It's obviously all online. So we've got that coming up. Obviously, we're doing something for New Year's. One thing I will ask, actually, it's just popped into my head. If you're not DJing New Year's and you do decide to do a set, would you like to do it with us?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you see, again, I'm trying to think outside the box here now. Like, you got a bunch of pubs near you. You know, why don't you say to these pubs, all right, listen, guys, we're going to be live streaming. Here's the URL code. You know, this is the code. All you got to do is you've got to log in, even if it's a frigging laptop. Get a, plug from the headphone out, mini jack into RCA, into a couple of powered speakers, bang it out there, and we're going to be doing some live streaming.
Yeah, I mean, because for us as DJs, what you want is to have a good set and have reaction from the crowd. That's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
That initially, that's your foundations of having a good set. If you can make people dance and enjoy themselves and go away and say, bloody hell, that DJ was good, you've done your job. You've earned your money. You've worked hard. When you're doing it online, you don't get that kind of interaction, though, do you?
No.
You get a few comments come through on the chat box. Go on, T.
I know they've tried Zoom. And you see people dancing. And we've tried Zoom for our first sort of online sort of back-to-back sort of festival, for better word. And you need a lot of people in there to make it work, one, to create an atmosphere, because otherwise you just got a handful of people in there. They might as well just be on the comments. But yeah, obviously sort of we will be doing a stream on New Year's Eve. If as soon as you've got availability, even if it's early in the day, Johnathan, we can find a set for you. Thank you for your time, Johnathan. We'd love to have you back, and it looks like we may have some collabs coming up in the future. So I'm sure we'll do another podcast again.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Nice one.
I will just say, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and thank you for all attending tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Johnathan. Oh no, yes, no. Yes, I've got notes written down here in terms of if anything went a little bit, quiet. In terms of, please send us out with your infamous phrase, please, Johnathan.
And that is practice and enjoy.